Thank you very much. Firstly, I'd like to express my deep, deep gratitude to Abraham, you, Esther, and Jerry for bringing forth this magnificent wisdom.
And all of you. You are what is causing it now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's made a tremendous impact on my life. What I would like is some clarity on a couple of things. The first is that involves a couple of lady friends of mine. The first is a very wise young woman who is very much attuned to your teachings, even prior to knowing about your teachings. And she is indeed a master manifester. And she also has some psychic abilities that she's had since childhood. So she's doing very, very well in her life. The other friend has some financial challenges right now. She's had them for quite some time, and she is not so much attuned to your wisdom, if you will, and what have you. So I'm very soon going to be in a position to have her work with me if she chooses to, and have her move into a place, again, if she chooses to, of better financial well-being. So what's occurred, though, is that the first gal had met this second gal and picked up something very negative deep within her, something that she considers very dark within her, even though I don't pick it up, I don't feel it, she's very sweet, etc. And she has suggested to me very strongly that it wouldn't be in my best interest to spend much time with her, or certainly to have her participate with me in the business that we're launching. So I guess the question would be, is there some bit of a quandary? Is there some validity to what she's possibly...
Well, you see,
yes.
This is the difficulty and problem with trying to use someone outside of you as your guidance system. Because your inner being will always be consistent in what it says. And so as you practice getting in sync and then trusting the feeling, it's possible that as this relationship plays out, if it does, that you will discover some of the discomfort that your friend is sensing. The question is, why are you not sensing it? And if you are not sensing it, then you are not meeting it. And if you are not meeting it, then you will not experience it. You get what you expect. And so rather than assuming that there is an already decided outcome that you are walking toward, why not acknowledge that you are the creator of your own reality? Sometimes what you can feel, and this is exactly the conversation that Esther has been having with herself. How can I tell if my inspiration is coming from my own desire or from my desire to please another? That's really something worth sorting out, because sometimes being the teacher that you are, you want with all that you are to be an uplifter. But you watched us here today. We are very good at what we do, but we know when we can't move energy. We know when we cannot offer enough of what we know to make any significant difference in something that is decided, you see? And so if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would, before we take any action, before we move forward toward any action, we would ask ourselves the question in as many ways that we could about this scenario: why? So we'll put some questions to you here if you want.
Absolutely.
So why is it that you are wanting to bring this person in to work with you? Why? Answer it quickly. Why?
She's a friend, and I want to assist her in every way that I possibly can.
Yes. So as Jerry and Esther were beginning, they were asking a lot of questions about this. And Jerry had been a businessman for a very long time, and he had his attitudes and opinions about what works and what doesn't work for him. And we said to them and to the group who were discussing this at the time, the tendency when you're starting a new business or when you are involved in a business is to look for those who are in need of employment. And if that is your criteria, then often you find yourself surrounded with people who need rather than want. In other words, they are different vibrational frequencies. So when we ask that question, if you have said, I feel such exhilaration when I'm with this person, or this is a person that has such energy and I feel the advantage of that energy to herself and to me, we would say, this is a really good thing that you're considering. But when you say, I see a need that could be filled through this, then that lets us know that she's not attracting. You are circumventing her point of attraction and trying to do a little assertion of your point of attraction into her experience. And what your psychic friend is sensing could be something no bigger than that. That's a big thing. Look for the most talented, exhilarated, tuned in, tapped in, turned on people that you can find and work with them.
I would actually like, thank you. I would like to let you know that I'm intending to do that as well. It's not exclusive to people that are in need. By any means, I know that my energy will and is attracting those kind of people.
We know it's a nice thing. When you are tuned in and you have all of the resources, it's a wonderful thing that you can be a catalyst to assist others in hooking up. We're not for a moment suggesting that you would want to be other than the uplifter that you are. We're just answering your question. That's what your psychic friend was sensing.
Okay. Number two,
sensing a future draining of your experience through a never-ending sieve of asking.
Okay. I'll be very much aware of that should there be participation in that respect. Thank you. Two also has to do with energy as well. And that is that I have heard that energy is translated, again, if we'll use negative energy that somebody may have, translated into other inanimate objects that they may be around, such as furniture that they may sit on, clothing that they may wear, etc.
We are not going to disagree with that, because everything, an artist who is in joy and paints a painting, only those who are in that mode will connect with that painting on that level. And if an artist has painted something in misery, only those who are in misery will connect with that painting. Things do, because everything is energy, and things are influenced by the energy that is offered. There's no question about that. But that would just drive you crazy. All you have to do is get into the receptive mode and attract to yourself the things that match that energy. It's so much simpler rather than trying to figure out what the energy of anything is.
I'm not trying to do that. It's just something that I desire to know. And the reason...
Someone said to us one day, many years ago, I've moved into a house and it feels awful. I sense that something bad happened in this house. And I've been advised, he said, by some others to light some sage on fire and do some rituals and do something to drive away this evil energy, was the way he was putting it at that time. And we said, or you could just get happy and fill the place up with you, because your attention to it causes you to meet it on that level, and then it doesn't matter how much sage you're burning.
Yeah, right. So, in effect, unless somebody is on that level, it doesn't really matter.
For a while we were talking about these vibrational discs and how they feel, and there's the discouraged disc, and Esther thought it was like the 7 dwarves of discs. You know, there's grumpy and sleepy and happy, and no one can jump on your disc. You only meet those that are at the same vibrational level that you are. So if you find yourself surrounded by or having experiences that feel discouraging, that's the disc you're on. Nobody jumped on your disc and discouraged you.
Right. So, just need to explore this for just a bit more, because I feel I truly feel I know I'm on a high-flying disc. Especially recently, with my attention to your wisdom persistently.
With your attention to the way you feel and your desire to feel good.
Thank you. Indeed.
Yes.
My question now more relates to others who aren't necessarily aware of energy being translated into inanimate objects, and for those that may then get them, whether it be secondhand clothing stores or Craigslist or whatever.
Esther bought a truckload of Chinese antiques and put them in her home and in her center building in Texas. And when she first saw them, she was captivated by them and infatuated by them and in love with them. In other words, she was tapped in, turned on when she found them. She picked them with such joy and relish. Everything unfolded so magnificently, the way they were hauled over and set around, in other words. And then Esther thought about what hardship maybe some of them had been through. Some of them had been painted in green paint in order to disguise the value of them, because they were made with very important woods, and they couldn't get out of the country if someone knew what they were. This was the story that she'd been told about them. So after she received them and she began looking at some of them that had been restored to their natural beauty, although they are very old, Esther wondered about them, and we said to her, there has been a lot of attention on these because they are very, very old pieces. So there was the original artist who was inspired to it. There was the carver. There were the creative geniuses that put it together. There were the engineers that put it together with no nails, with only pieces of wood that were intricately carved so that they could fit together. And then there were the artists who painted it, and the artists who adored it, and the artists who loved it. And did this furniture fall on some hard times for a while? Undoubtedly it did. And what was going on during that time? And did these inanimate objects pick up vibration depending upon where they were? Of course they did. But what energy do you want to harmonize? In other words, you could meet someone who had a terrible childhood who is now joyful. Do you want to talk about their childhood, or do you want to focus upon their joy? Absolutely. And so all of these things have layers of energy. Even the components that they're made from have energy. The paint that has been put upon them has energy. The intention of everyone who has enjoyed them has energy. We said to Esther, just the appreciation of these shop owners who have adored this property for as many years as they've adored it, because Esther had been seeing the furniture in there for many years. She just did not have a place that was asking for it. So many of these pieces Esther was aware of. She and Jerry had visited them there on many occasions. You get to decide what aspect of anything you tune to. Nothing has any capability of reaching you except for the vibration that you are offering. If a tree falls in the forest and no one is there to hear it, did it make a sound? No. If there is not a receiver that matches the offerer of the vibration, then there is no experience, you see. Yes. So we wouldn't spend any time wondering what happened to anyone or anything before we got there. We would just focus upon who we are and let it come to meet us, because that's always the way these energies work. Whatever your vibration is, everything around must acquiesce or go someplace else. It's just the way that it is. And if you spend any time trying to sort it and sift it and sort and sift it, then you have that same difficulty that so many have when they're trying to sift out the rights and the wrongs of the world. Helpful?
Very. Thank you very much.